right into it then. So first off and foremost, Rich, thank you for the opportunity to come out and talk to your crew. I've heard nothing but awesome things about those people that Rich has the opportunity and the blessing to work with. I am not a motivational speaker by no stretch of the imagination. I am just a person who has been blessed with a lot of mentors over the years that for some reason decided to pour into me. And what we're going to do today is actually, it's not going to be me just sitting here talking to you. We're actually going to hear a little bit about the mindset shift that I've had over the course of the years and some of the key lessons that some of my mentors have poured into me, people that have for some reason decided to just reach out to me on a fluke, people that I met on planes, people that I met at our son's basketball games, or our daughter's modeling shows, whatever it is. I've just been taking these nuggets in and then implementing it in my life. So these are some of the things that's helped me get to the next level. We're actually going to do some work today, right? So I never come to any place with just to speak and just share, ask questions. And there's a couple of sections here where I'm going to say, hey, let's get to work. So by the time we leave here today, no matter how much time you have, there'll be some actionable steps that once you implement, hopefully it's able to help you get to the next level. I share with our son all the time. He plays college basketball. And in the 6th grade, he was like, Dad, I need a trainer. So we set him up with a trainer and he was working on his skills. And then 6-7 months later, he was still working with the trainer, but he was not implementing what he learned in the game. And that was a lesson for me. Implementation is absolutely everything, right? Like I don't need to read a whole book. I just need to read the book. I get the lesson. Like, oh, before I go to the next lesson in this book, the next chapter, let me implement this right now. And so once I became an implementer, and it goes all the way back to my days of playing college basketball, once I got those lessons back into my daily habits and routines and started implementing, all of a sudden things took off for me. So this is something that I think about every day. You really do have the power to change the person you were 5 minutes ago. So when you walked into this room, you were a certain person. Depending on what you decide to hear today, what you decide to hear and what you implement, you can leave a whole different person. Cool, but first things first, let me just make sure I know who I'm talking to. All right, we're a small crew today, so we fam. All right, share with me your name one more time, and what's one thing you going after this year?
My name is Lamar, and the first thing I'm going after is my first wholesale deal, I guess you would say, my actual wholesale deal.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm trying to close that.
Go get it.
Yes, sir.
Go get it. Remind me of your name, buddy.
Jared.
Jared.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what's one thing you're going after
One
this
thing
year?
I'm going after this year, I don't know, man. I want to impact more people.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
My name's Cameron. I'm going after $100,000 GCI, gross commission income.
Love it. Go get it. And what about you?
My name is Quinn, and what I'm going after this year is to get my business stable.
Excellent. I love it. I love it. And those are all phenomenal goals, right? And I'll share with you the first thing. One of the first things that one of my mentors just consistently drills into my head is understand why you're going after it. Understand. So when somebody asks you, hey, what are you doing? What are you going after? What's your goals? My goals is to close my first wholesale deal this year because is so important. If that because is about you, you might not have the stamina to go get it. But if that because is about impacting someone else's life, you'll have much more stamina and much more power to it. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. So let me turn this on here. So first things first, I'm gonna tell you what I do now. Then I'm gonna tell you who I was. And we're gonna go through a couple of mindset shifts that helped me get to this point, and I'm still going after more. So I'm very blessed to serve as, so number one, I have a couple jobs. My first job is to be the husband, hopefully a phenomenal husband to my first girlfriend ever, and we'll be celebrating 25 years of marriage in July. That's my first job. Thank you very much. It's a blessing indeed. Second job is to be hopefully a phenomenal dad to two awesome kids. Our daughter's 22. She's going after a big goal. She wants to own um, 4 or 5, I think it's 5 is her vision, med spas throughout the state of California. So my job is to help her escort along that journey, right? Our son, he's 20, plays college basketball. He always wanted to be a Division I college basketball player. He made it to that level. He's excelling at that level, and he wants to be a real estate developer. And he's like, Dad, by the time I become a senior in college, I want to have purchased and renovated 2 properties. So my why is to not only be able to provide them with those opportunities, because mom and dad should be their investors. They shouldn't have to go to a bank, right? And my why is also to provide my wife with the opportunities that she dreamed of, because she's helped me all along the way. I wasn't always this person. Let's just say she had a lot of investment in me to get me to this point right now. So in addition to those things, I'm very, very fortunate to serve as the CEO of a company called Core. We work with clients all across the country providing fractional and interim executive services. So we have interim CEOs that go out and work with companies to help them through turnarounds and transitions. We have about 26 fractional CFO engagements with companies across now the globe, and then companies, small to medium-sized companies, anywhere from 5 million to about 200 million, outsource their back office to us, mostly accounting and finance, HR, some technology, and administration. So our claim to fame is we work in it, so you work on it. One of the lessons that I learned along the way several years ago, that whatever you are leading, whatever you are growing, if you're working more in the business and not on the business, it's not going to grow. Because in the business is all the tinkering and all the infrastructure. The on the business is the sales, the marketing, the creating the exposure. And if you're going to be if you have a gift to be an in it person, to build infrastructure and systems, you sure better partner with somebody who's on it. Because the companies all the time I see, they have phenomenal infrastructure. They got phenomenal systems, but nobody knows about them. And we are in an attention economy. If people don't know of you, you can't serve them, right? You have a goal to serve as many people as you can, to be a blessing to them. But if they don't know about you, you can't serve them, right? So we're going to try to keep things really, really simple today. So I serve as the CEO of Core. I actually am the first African American to serve on a corporate board for an environmental science company. So I was exposed to corporate board directorship about 15 years ago. And my mentor, who serves on publicly traded boards, he's like, D, they pay me to go to 5 meetings a year for my insight. I was like, really? Tell me more. Who do I need to become in order to have those type of opportunities? And he gave me the roadmap. So I saw the vision, and now all of a sudden the GPS started to point me towards that vision. So I not only do I serve as 5 years on the board, but I'm also the compensation committee chairman. I have also been very, very privileged to go speak at universities during our guest lectures at University of Pacific, at Sacramento State. And this one right here, I was the second African American to ever be the board chairman of the Sacramento Metro Chamber of Commerce in 187 years of the organization being in existence. So these are some of the things I do now, in addition to serving as an executive coach. And I get a chance to really go around to the country now and just share my story. But this is who I was, right? I graduated in college in 2000, and I've had over 20 jobs. I was a bail bondsman for Aladdin Bail Bonds downtown. So I was bailing people out of jail. I was door-to-door sales for Comcast and Xfinity, getting chased out. People were like, we don't want none. And putting their dog, I was a recruiter. I was doing temp jobs. I played basketball after college for a couple of years. I've had several sales. I got fired after we bought our dream house. We bought a 4,000 square foot, 1-story house on 2.5 acres with the circular driveway. I had the grand vision, right? Oh, we're gonna have the Beamer, Benz, and Bentley up here and everything. Got fired 2 days later. Like, sorry, Darrell, we're going to have to make a different decision. The economy is not doing what we thought. Because I was the highest compensated person on the team, guess who's going to go first? And at that moment, I was like, oh, we're not going to never let this happen again. But after I was in a victim mindset for a little bit. Like, I can't believe they did this to me. And it was my daughter. She danced. We always told her, if she just does phenomenal in school, just do great in school, and we got you covered. Don't get in trouble. You can dance, have many dance classes you want to. And I got let go. And we got this mortgage, which is a lot. And we pretty much emptied our savings for the down payment. And so I'm like, what do we do? How do you tell your daughter no? Like, how does dad say, sorry, I told you this, but I got to go back on my promise? So it wasn't until I was trying to figure out, what do I do? How do we get the money? We needed $70 in order to not only get a little bit of gas to get her to class, but also to pay for the dance class for that month. And I had a shoebox full of coins. It was probably about halfway full. I went to Bel Air on the street called Waterman in Elk Grove, California, and I put the coins in the Coinstar machine. First time I ever went to a Coinstar machine. And as long as I prayed, the coins kept going. And then the harder I prayed, the faster it went. When I started to take my foot off the gas, the coins started slowing down. And that's when I knew I was going to be all right. God got me. I just had to stay faithful, locked in, and know that it was much bigger than me, that this journey was not happening to me, it was happening for me. And at that moment, I knew, hey, ain't nobody going to come save me, so let's go get it, right? So this concept of Kaizen, right, is continuous improvement every single day. These are the things that we're going to talk about in the philosophy of getting 1% better, but it all started with a vision. As I had shared with you all, my mentor who serves on the corporate boards, that was like, oh, okay, that's part of my vision. And every single day I think about what's the vision for my life? And I have a vision. I have a 1 year, I have a 2 year, I have a 3 year, I have a 5 year, I have a 10 year, I have a 20-year vision. And I often ask, I'm 48 right now, Darrell, what decisions are you going to make today that the 58-year-old Darrell's going to be happy with? I ask those questions over and over and over again, because there's a study in Harvard Business Review that talks about all of the high-performing people are phenomenal at asking questions. And in your field, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to find out about your clients, right? What's their dreams, what's their goals, what's their aspirations, the why behind this purchase, or the why behind this sale. And those that are able to become masters of asking phenomenal questions, those are the ones that continue to rise in not only their personal leadership, right, their professional leadership, but they're able to lead others even more effectively. So the reason why I am on this corporate board for 5 years as the youngest on the board, right, and the only one that looks like me, and when I looked at my review for this year, because they review us every year, we got to get voted on every single year, right? They say he asks hard and thoughtful questions. Because I was like, okay, this is the vision for me to be a corporate board director on a publicly traded board. I need to become a master at asking good questions. But I started asking questions of myself first. And then that manifested being able to ask questions on the outside. So think about, what is your vision? Who am I becoming? In order for me to become a CEO of several companies, a corporate board director, and what I hope my wife would say, a phenomenal husband, I really had to be intentional about who I was becoming, because that was the GPS. I love Waze. I don't know if anybody uses Waze like I do. All right. I get in the car. Sac has a lot of traffic now. Okay. Sacramento has a ton of traffic. Even if I'm going just downtown and I only live 10 minutes from downtown, I type in the destination. And when I was thinking about that one day, I typed in the destination and said, routes available, view available routes. And I was like, whoa, this is like life. There are several ways to get there, but I got to know where there is first. And sometimes there may shift and we don't even know it. So be really, really thoughtful about who am I becoming and where am I going? Because once you have the GPS, what does Waze do? It's going to find out if there's traffic here, it's going to reroute you, right? And if it's traffic here, it's going to reroute you over there. But you got to have the destination first. So in order for me, I knew that I wanted to be a CEO in 2000. It took 12 years to get my first CEO job. And I had to go through all of those things, 20 jobs. But I knew where I was going, so every detour was moving me towards the right direction, right? So have that vision consistently in mind, and who are you becoming as a person? I tell our son all the time, and I tell our daughter all the time, in order to own 5 med spas, who do you have to be? What type of person, what type of mindset, what type of demeanor, what level of faith do you need to have in order to be able to execute with excellence? It's not about getting there. And I tell our son all the time, because I had a vision, I just wanted to get to the MBA. And I wish somebody would have told me what I learned along the way. It's not about getting to the NBA. It's about dominating when you get there, right? It's not about just becoming a top real estate agent. What does a top real estate agent really do? What type of swag level do they have? What type of gratitude do they walk with? How humble are they? How much generosity do they have? There's a gentleman who named Keith Murray I met. He lives in Pelican Hill. Look, if he walked in here right now, you would have no idea who he was. Kobe Bryant's house is here. The lady who created Spanx is here. His house is right here. Right? And he was like, D, the more generous I became, the more things just started coming back to me. And that's one of the key elements that I've found with all high performers. They are extremely generous. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. It's so much better to give to receive. Just like on Christmas and when you give those presents, you get that dopamine hit. Like there's real science behind this. You get those dopamine hits. So I'm like, why wouldn't I just go after that? So me and my family and my friends, we have a generosity war. We are at war with each other to see who could be the most generous. And it's selfish, right? It makes me feel that much better. So I got that much more pep in my step to give, right? So anyway, we talked about starting with why. Simon Sinek in his book and his writings. And if you don't know who Simon Sinek is, start with why. Simon Sinek, and I saw him talk about this, about the why you do what you're doing is so important. And I think about that every time somebody asks me a question. I ask myself, why? Why did I have that response? What am I looking to go for? All right. So this is one thing I'll share with you, that as you think about getting to the next level and executing with excellence, there are several people that will hear the same things and they'll have 2 totally different reactions. And you got to roll. And one of the things that what hit me in my spirit was there were several times along my life I had a different level of spirit. And that dictated what I heard and what I saw. So our thoughts control our feelings and emotions. So whatever we think controls our feelings. Whatever we feel controls our behaviors. And whatever our behaviors are controls our outcomes. That's why you can see you later. That's why you can always almost reverse engineer outcomes back to the way we think. That's why when people do something wild, what do they say? What were they thinking? You hear that all? What were they thinking? I can't believe they did. What were they thinking? Because their thoughts controlled their feelings controlled their actions. That's why people say, oh, I don't feel like doing that. Right? So that's why we have to be super thoughtful about how we're thinking. But then I thought to myself, like, there has to be more, right? There are people who can hear and see things and they have 2 totally different reactions. And I was like, oh, I know why. Why have I made this shift? It was the posture of my spirit. So these are the level of spirit that I've had over the years and where I'm trying to maintain. I've had this the posture. Hold on, we're gonna go right there. I've had a really timid spirit. So if someone had brought an idea to me, for example, when Redbox came out, I could have bought pretty much all of Sacramento in the Safeway grocery stores, put the red boxes in there before anybody knew who Redbox was. Hey, Darrell, there's this opportunity. But I had this timid spirit, like, oh, I don't know if that's going to work. Blockbuster's never going to go out of business. And then I'm going to people who have no business experience whatsoever, but they love me. Well, what do you think about that? And the more they talked, the more timid I became. The opportunity became too big, right? So I had a timid spirit. So no matter what I heard or what I saw, I wasn't going to take action on it. It was going to influence how I moved. I've had a timid spirit. I've had a tired spirit, right? Where I just been grinding, like Nipsey said, all my life, grinding all my life. And I was just really tired. So if I heard something like, man, that's going to take too much energy. Or the question I asked was, how long is that going to take? I got to get there sooner. I don't know if I got energy for that, right? So I had a timid spirit, a tired spirit. I've had a trying spirit. And I was here for a long time. I just started graduating from this trying spirit, okay? So I'm just telling you things today of like my personal journey. The trying spirit is when people would ask me hey D, what you been up to? Just trying to be a good husband. I'm trying to be a good dad, and I'm trying to make it happen. So I was always not there, but I'm trying to get there. What are you doing? I'm just trying to become a top agent. I'm just trying to be a CEO. I'm just trying to do this. And when I'm using those words like trying, that means I'm not there yet. So I've always looked at it as I'm still striving and struggling to get there. And I was saying that with my words. It wasn't until last year that we had a shift as a family. We have our family motto every year. Last year was the Teat fam thrives in 2025. The Teat family thrives in 2025. The definition of thrive is to grow and develop vigorously. I wasn't thriving because I was growing and developing, but I wasn't doing it vigorously, intentionally, with velocity, right? So then all of a sudden I moved to the thriving spirit. Like, I am making it happen. I am doing this. I'm actually doing the things that I said I was going to do. So I'm thriving. Then the last two levels of spirit when I hear things then I moved to a triumphant spirit, where I actually walked with a level of swag, knowing that if I came in to meet with you on a listing appointment, it's done. It's done. I walk in like, there's no way you're not going to list with me, right? Because of the spirit that I have, because of the competency that I have, because of the work that I've done, because of my track record, there's no way they're not going. So when I walk in the room, I have a whole level of spirit, and people can feel your spirit. People can feel your spirit, and they can also feel your motives, right? Because I'm coming in, I just want to help you. I want to figure out what your goals are. I want to figure out where you're going. I want to figure out your why, and I'm going to do everything I have to do in order to make sure we make that happen. Right? So that's the level of spirit. I had a thriving spirit, right? And then my buddy, when I was telling him about this, I was like, Chris, I'm talking to people about this in my meetings. And like, I'm literally across from another CEO working on a new contract for our company. And I can tell his spirit is a little off. So we start talking about this, and they're writing it down like, man, D, I love that. Can you send me that in email? And he was like, Darrell, you know what? That's great. You have that. I love it. That's heat. He called me back at 11:30. He said, there's one more level of spirit. And I was like, what's that? He's like, it's the trusting level of spirit, where no matter what happens, is working together for my good. No matter what happens, if I get laid off after buying our dream house, it's working for me. It's either working on me or it's working in me, right? And always be in that trusting spirit. So now what I'm doing on a daily basis, I'm checking the level of my spirit. Am I in a trusting spirit right now? Am I in the triumphant spirit? Am I in a thriving spirit? Oh, you know what? When I heard that, I had a little bit of a timid spirit, Like, man, or I had a little bit of a tired spirit. Let me get back up here. And that's because that's the posture of our spirit dictates how we hear things and how we see things. And then what it's going to do, how we think, our feelings, our actions, and then our outcomes. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? All right. So this guy, we were going to talk about vision in the posture of the spirit. This is my man, Blake. I'm going to butcher his last name, so I'm not going to say it. So Blake was in Argentina. He's walking through Argentina. He sees all these kids going to school. Some of them can't even get into school. They're turned away because they don't have shoes. Then as he's walking through the area, he's like, man, these kids don't have shoes and they have cuts on their feet. And now they have health issues. There has to be something different. There has to be. He figures out that there is a material in Argentina that could be molded really inexpensively, and he creates shoes. Because the posture of his spirit was, there. I am a person who can solve problems. There's no reason these kids could have shoes. And he saw something totally different because when he saw it, he was like, yeah, my feelings are this shouldn't happen, right? My actions are I'm going to do something about it and I'm going to create. And now this is the guy who created Tom's shoes and now gave over 100 million pair of shoes away. And I believe it's buy one, give one. So that means if he gave away over 100 million pairs of shoes, that means he done sold 100 million pair of shoes, right? It's because of the level of his spirit and how he saw things. That's why it's so important to think about the lens in which you are looking at things through all throughout the day, whether it be an opportunity for a listing agent or a buyer, whether it be a person that you don't think has the means to do. It's the lens in which we look at things through. And I thought about this because I had my eye exam last year. And you know, when you have your eye exam, so we're in the same crew. You're not here yet, buddy, okay? Hopefully you don't get here. Don't cross over. Yeah, don't cross over. Don't cross over. So I'm sitting there and the thing is going back and forth, click, click, click. And sometimes it's foggy and then it's a little less foggy and then it's super clear. And I was like, whoa, it just hit me right there. It's all about the lens that I decide to look at things through. Are we in a recession? So for example, people are like, Darrell, your business, is it going to be impacted if we go into a recession? Absolutely not. Why? Companies aren't going to have no money because we provide fractional executives. That means they're going to probably let go of some of their CFO and the high paid people. We provide fractional CFOs. They can get the same level of insight for a fraction of the cost. We go thrive in a recession. So because of the lens in which I look at it through, my feelings are different. So guess what happens? As soon as we're watching the economic indicators, as soon as it hits a certain level, we investing. We going hard on social. We're going to blow LinkedIn up. We're going to become the premier fractional CFO company in the country. Don't threaten me with a good time, right? Because it's the lens of which I decide to look at it through. Every single day, you wake up, you have the opportunity to look at it as a blank canvas. Yesterday was over. That play was over. Now what are we going to create today? And this is all about that Kaizen living. It's change for good. Tupac had a tattoo, said Thug Life. I'm going to get one that says Kaizen right here. All right? Because it's all about consistently improving. Now, one of the things that I learned is that I had several constraints. And I had to solve for the constraints. Once I identified the constraints, I had to solve for them. And it wasn't just, when you have a constraint and you have a lid, most people think they could just turn it upside down, hit it a couple times, loosen it up, and then just go pop. But oftentimes you got to turn that lid several times depending on how tight it's on, how many years you've had that constraint. And I look at it as like little keys. So hopefully today and all throughout your life, you are looking for those it's not one master key that's going to just open up everything, right? It's the little keys that unlocks every single day. Unlock, unlock, unlock. So that's why I'm on YouTube University. That's why I'm reading books. That's why I'm implementing. That's why I'm talking to my mentors. That's why I'm reaching out to people who I don't even know. I'll be like, hey, you just accomplished that. I need 15 minutes of your time. I'm doing this all across the country. I'm reaching out to the authors of the books, okay? Because all I want is the information. Think about how many times you have ever in here, have you ever read a book and then reached out to the author? Why not? They obviously, and it was a book you really liked. It's like, man, you know what? Tell me how you came up with that concept. What were you thinking about as you were writing this? When you could have, and they would love to talk to you. They would love to talk to you, especially if they're not a famous author. And all of a sudden, guess what? Now you have this relationship and you never know what happens because all you're trying to do is seek for the unlocks. So as we go through this, right, you're like, okay, I'm going to look for these unlocks. I'm going to wake up every day. I'm going to create my masterpiece. I'm going to take the lid off. I will share that it don't happen overnight. To get to where you want to get to, it's not going to take overnight, get there overnight. It could, but oftentimes the people that they say are overnight celebrities, they've been in the shadows. Like Bane, I don't know if you guys watched the Batman, The Dark Knight. Bane said, I was born in the dark, right? He was raised in the dark. Sometimes getting there is a dark process. And I'll share this with you. I love the analogy of the farmer. Because the farmer knows, he has a vision. Remember we talked about how important vision is? The farmer knows this harvest is coming. It's going to happen. But what do they have to do? They have to plant the seeds and they got to water it. And they got to water it and they got to keep watering it and they got to keep watering it. So look at each one of these squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 over the course of a year. And he's watering and he don't see nothing. And then in quarter 2, he's watering, he don't see nothing. And then quarter 3, he's watering, he don't see nothing. He doesn't see anything externally. But what we do know what's happening is there's a whole lot of stuff going on underground. The roots are getting stronger and stronger and stronger. That's what we talked about, that becoming. Before people see the manifestation of who you are, the CEO, the corporate board member, the phenomenal husband, the great dad, all those type of things, it's an inside job. You become that person inside before you start to see it outside. But what we do know is the harvest is going to come. Sometimes it's going to look exactly as we talked, like as we envisioned. Sometimes it's going to be a variation, but it's going to come, right? Do you think that the farmer stops watering? They can't. They invested too much time. They only know that if I stop watering, I'm never going to get the harvest. So as you're going along your journey, think about it. Every single day, all I got to do is just keep watering. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. When we talk about getting better and the compounding effect of 1% better every day, this is the whole reason why I came up with this presentation, is when I discovered the math. This is the math that don't lie. All right. I don't argue with math. If you get 1% better every day over 365 days in a year, you're going to be 37 times better. That's what the math tells me. So I'm not going to argue with it. And you think about it, if you're playing the piano and you're working on it every single day, at the end of the year, you're probably a whole lot better, right? If you're shooting hoops, if you're shooting free throws, if you're shooting threes over the course of the year, you probably get, if you're doing cold calls, if you start right now and you're terrible at cold calls, if you do it every single day and just say, I need to get 1% better, you're going to be 37 times better at the end of the year. There's no way it don't happen. The only way it happens is if you stop halfway through the year. That's the only way it happens. So I think about somebody who, when I think about professional development, and I think about somebody who got 1% better and is the definition is Tom Brady. He was the 199th pick in the draft. 199th pick. How many Super Bowls does he have? 7 Super Bowls. I study Tom Brady all the time because of his mindset. How do you go from 199th pick to 7 Super Bowls and the GOAT? He's like, when people, and he didn't even get his chance to start until the second, I believe it was his second season. Somebody got hurt, but he watched film and he worked on his craft and he looked at every rep in practice like it was the game. This is my game. 7 championships later. What I love about Tom Brady, they said, hey, you know what? The system at New England is why he's so good. This dude went to Tampa Bay, the worst team in the league. The worst, not just league, the worst franchise. They weren't very well run. They had a culture of losing. This dude went in pretty much the same team. And what happens the first year? They don't just get to the Super Bowl, they win the Super Bowl. As I was reading more and more about Tom Brady and what happened this year at Tampa Bay, I didn't listen to what Tom Brady said. I was looking for what his teammates said. Because I was like, it had to be something that his aura, how he walked in, he changed the whole culture because he has a vision. We talked about vision before. I am a winner. I have a vision for us to win the Super Bowl this year. How many people do you think really believed that was going to happen? Probably not many. But every day he kept watering and watering and watering and watering and watering. And he showed up as a winner. And I'm sure that the words that he used, hey, I'm about to go throw this here, go run this route, go catch it, and score a touchdown. He's talking as if it's already done. Hey, you're going to score on this play. You're going to score on this play, and then we're going to come back the next series and we're going to go da-da-da-da-da. So he already spoke life into his people, everyone around him. So he was not the person who was the thermometer. So he didn't walk into the situation and let the situation of losing get in him. He was the thermostat. So he changed the temperature. So I think about that every single day. When I'm walking into a room, am I the thermostat where I take the vibe of the company, of my client, of the people around me? Do I let that change my inner thermostat? Or do I walk in the room and shift the atmosphere? Because I'm going to set the temperature wherever I go, right? We also think about 1% better every day. This guy, the Mamba mentality. Yeah.
Let everybody know. Grab one of the energy drinks right now, just before the ice melts.
Yeah, do your thing. And eat and everything else.
Well, yeah, the drinks are gonna melt. So take one. They're really deep. They're different flavors. They're great. They're healthy. Sponsored by Step Up Nutrition. So they were nice enough to sponsor this picture. I don't know. Passionate. I use this to go by color. I'm not 100%. Take 2 because there's enough for Darrell, you help yourself in.
Absolutely, we'll do. I'm good. No, we're doing our thing. We all family here.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna just grab one of these right here. What's this right here?
I don't know.
Thank you very much. We go here. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Straw, guys. Take two because there's enough. There you go. There. And you start sipping and grab your food and whatever you want. Yeah, they're healthy drinks. They're B12.
Okay.
I go here every morning. I get these drinks every morning. So here's the place down the street. They got healthy shakes, but it's all nutrition, all good. But it's like natural energy. Really good stuff. Shout out Step Up Nutrition for sponsoring. Give you guys some plugs since you guys make sure you guys check it out. Here's a flyer. Show the camera. On Palm, guys, go there. Healthy Drinks, 5763 North Palm Avenue, guys. Healthy drinks, healthy shakes. Thanks to Eric. Shout out Eric and Terry. And shout out to me and Edge for the bomb pizza. You don't know nothing about this. Is a local favorite. It's been around for 30 plus years, but this is probably this is the best pizza in Fresno, in the county. I want you to see for yourself.
Absolutely.
In Sacramento.
See, you guys are making me work hard up here. I'm gonna be hungry when I'm done.
Yeah. Well, that drink is perfect for energy.
So when we think about Kobe Bryant is the definition of getting 1% better every day. Kobe Bryant said, and we studied him a whole lot, right? Kobe Bryant said he figured out that most NBA players work out twice a day. He said, all I have to do is do one more workout. And if I do one more workout, if I do 3 workouts a day over a longer period of time, not only will I catch them when I pass them, because I'm going to keep doing 3 workouts a day, they'll never be able to catch up. Just that's the power of one more. The power of getting one more, doing one more rep, 1% better every day, right? The cool part about Kobe is when he left basketball, he had the same Mamba mentality, the constant quest to become the best version of yourself. So he went in the media. Many people don't know he won 2 Emmys. Right? You can fact check that one, right? He won 2 Emmys in the work of media because he took that same mindset and approach to everything that he does. All right, so now we're going to get to work. This is actually where you got to do a little bit of work. All right. So we talked about a whole lot of things over the course of the last maybe 20 minutes or so. So I threw a lot at you. But now it's about actually taking some of this information and implementing it. So I don't know if you got your laptop, if you got a piece of paper, you got your phone, whatever it is. I want you to think about your vision for 3 areas of your life. So just think about 3 areas of your life and what is your vision, right? You can do a 3-year vision, a 5-year vision, a 20-year vision, whatever it might be. So think about the vision for 3 areas of your life. Why is it important for you to achieve that vision? Why is it important for that vision to become a reality? Remember, we talked about the why is so important. Why is it important for that vision to be realized? And who's going to benefit? Besides yourself, who's going to benefit when that vision becomes a reality? You guys picking up what I'm putting down? So we're just going to put a couple minutes on the clock here. I'm looking at the time. We're going to take a little bit of time. We're going to take 4 minutes. The vision for 3 areas of your life. Why is it important for that vision to become a reality? And who's going to benefit? Let's put a little thinking music on here. Another 2 minutes and 30 seconds. As they say, write the vision and make it plain.